Hello students, today we start with chapter 5, that is vectors. Now last year in your physics portion, you have learned that there are two types of quantities, that is scalars and vectors. A scalar is a quantity which can be defined completely by its magnitude. This you already must be knowing about it. Okay, for example, length, mass, area, volume, time, etc. These are all scalar quantities. In maths, we say that real numbers are scalars. Whereas, what are vectors then? Vectors are quantities which have both magnitude and direction. So, vectors have magnitude as well as direction. Okay, so you know examples of certain vectors like displacement, velocity, acceleration, momentum. These are quantities which you have learnt about last year itself in your physics portion. So, here we are going to represent vectors with respect to mathematics. Now, suppose we have a segment, say AB, and segment AB has a particular direction. Then we say that AB is a directed line segment. In other words, AB is an example of a vector. And this AB is read as AB with a horizontal line above it. So it is read as AB bar. So in AB bar, in vector AB, A is called as the initial point and B is called as the terminal point. B is the terminal point of the vector. So a vector has initial as well as terminal point. Now AB is not the same as BA. The directions are different. Magnitudes are same, but the directions are different. AB is opposite of BA. So that is how we define a vector in terms of maths. Now we go on to types of vectors. Suppose AB is a vector. Its magnitude is written as mod AB or length of AB. So this gives us the size of vector AB. Now we have different types of vectors. Say what is a zero vector? A zero vector or a null vector is a vector whose initial and terminal points are one and the same. So it is denoted as 0 bar. It is denoted by this 0 bar, or simply we can write it as 0 as well. It is one and the same thing. Now what is a unit vector? A unit vector is one which has magnitude 1, whose magnitude is 1. Okay, so we represent a unit vector by this symbol. That is, if A is a unit vector, we write this symbol on A. It is read as A cap and the magnitude of A cap is 1. Going further, what are co-initial vectors? Okay, co-initial vectors. Now, co-initial vectors are those whose initial point is same. Suppose this is the point from where both these vectors are arising. They can go in any particular direction. But since their initial point is same, they are called as co-initial vectors. In the same manner, we can also define what are coterminous vectors. Coterminous vectors are those which have the same terminal points. For example, over here, if these vectors start from this point, but their ending point is this, okay, then these two vectors are called coterminous vectors. Then a very important type of vector, that is what are equal vectors. Now equal vectors are those which have the same magnitude and the same direction as well. For example, if this vector, say this vector is A bar and say we have another vector B bar, you see that A bar and B bar have the same magnitude and the same direction, and therefore they are said to be equal vectors. So the condition for A bar and B bar to be equal is mod A bar should be equal to mod B bar, and their direction should be the same. Then we say that A bar and B bar are equal vectors. Now can you call this vector A bar and C bar as equal vectors? No, isn't it? Because although their magnitude is same, their directions are different. So these cannot be called as equal vectors. Then what is the meaning of negative of a vector? A negative of a vector is, suppose we change the direction, opposite direction if we have another vector, then that is the negative of this particular vector. For example, if A bar is a vector of one particular direction, the vector which is coming the opposite of A bar, in the opposite direction of A bar, that is minus A bar, would be called as a negative of vector A. Then what are collinear vectors? This is very important. Two vectors are collinear if they are parallel to the same line or if they are along the same line that is there. Okay, so for example, if we have vectors A and B and suppose they are parallel to each other, then we can call them as collinear. Or on the other hand, the more standard definition of collinear vectors is they lie on the same line. So here A and B lie on the same line. So then they are called as collinear vectors. Then what are free vectors? Free vectors are those vectors which can be translated anywhere in space without changing their magnitude and direction. For example, suppose we have A bar in space, a vector A bar in space. It can be written anywhere else in this page, that is, it can be written here, it can be written here, it can be written over here as well. Its magnitude and direction do not change. So such a vector is called as a free vector. On the other hand, you can also have something called as a localized vector. Just the opposite of a free vector, you have something called as a localized vector. A localized vector is one whose initial point is fixed in space. It can go anywhere, but it has a fixed initial point. Then it is called as a localized vector. You can imagine a car starting from this point, say A. Its starting point is same. It can then go anywhere on the road, on a straight road, but its starting point is same. So this is an example of a localized vector. So in this way, we have defined all the possible types of vectors which are there. Let us see what is meant by scalar multiplication of vectors. Suppose A bar is a vector and K is any scalar. Then the multiple of A and K bar is written as K into A bar. Now with respect to K bar, there are three possibilities which are there. First of all, suppose K bar is positive, that is if K bar is greater than 0, then K A bar has the same direction as compared to A bar. So both of them have the same direction. K A bar is a vector and A bar is another vector. Both of them will have the same direction if K is positive. And the magnitude of K A bar is written as K A. The second case, suppose K is equal to 0. Then K A bar is called as a null vector. We get K A bar as a 0 or a null vector. On the other hand, if K is less than 0, if K is negative, then K A bar will have the opposite direction as A bar and its magnitude is minus K A. A very important property which we learn from scalar multiplication is that Suppose there are two vectors, two non-zero vectors A and B, A bar and B bar. Then we can say that they are either collinear or parallel to each other if a condition is obeyed. That is, if we can write A bar is equal to M into B bar, where M is any scalar and M is not equal to 0. Then we can say that the two vectors are collinear to each other or they are parallel to each other as well. This you will be using in sums. Then one more important property which comes from scalar multiplication. Suppose A cap is a unit vector along vector A bar. Okay, we had seen that a unit vector can be represented by putting a cap sign on it. So if A bar is any vector and if A cap is a unit vector along A bar, then we can say that A bar is equal to mod A bar into A cap. Or in other words, the unit vector along A bar, that is A cap, can be found out by using this particular formula, that is A bar upon mod A bar. This again you have to keep in mind. Next, let us see the addition of two vectors. Say A bar and B bar are two vectors, then their addition can be written as A bar plus B bar. Now to study further, there are two laws of addition of vectors. The first one is called as triangle law. According to this law, suppose A bar and B bar are any two vectors and we consider triangle ABC. Okay, so this is triangle ABC such that AB is equal to A bar and BC is equal to B bar. Then side AC gives us the vector A bar plus B bar. So we can say that if AC is C bar, then we can say that C bar is equal to A bar plus B bar. Observe the direction. The direction of the vectors, denoting the correct direction, is very, very important. So this is called as a triangle law. That is A bar plus B bar is equal to C bar. Now this triangle law can be extended further and we can state what is known as the parallelogram law. Now in this parallelogram law, suppose we draw a parallelogram like this. Suppose the parallelogram is say ABCD. Then suppose side AB bar is denoted as A bar and BC bar is denoted as B bar C. Then in this case, because opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent or equal and parallel also, so we can say that BC bar and AD bar can be represented by the same vector, that is B bar, and similarly AB bar and DC bar can also be represented by the same vector, that is A bar. Vector A bar is the same, they have the same measure there. Now we already know that AB plus BC is equal to AC. So C bar is equal to A bar plus B bar. Now as you can see over here, A bar and B bar are the measures of side AB. Vector AB are represented by vector AB and vector AD as well. So thus we can say that the diagonal of the parallelogram formed by two vectors gives us the measure of the addition of both the vectors. So we can see that C bar is equal to A bar plus B bar in this case as well, isn't it? So this is again, this part is proved by the parallelogram law as well. So keep both these laws in mind. Now subtraction of two vectors. Suppose A and B are two vectors represented by AB and BC of triangle ABC. So AB is A bar and BC is B bar. Now here, suppose we construct a vector say BD like you see in the figure, such that the magnitude of BD is the same as BC, but the direction is opposite of that of BC. Then we can say BD is equal to minus BC. So BD becomes minus B bar. Okay, and in this case, in the triangle ABD, then we can say that AD bar is equal to AB bar plus BD bar by the triangle law. Now AB bar is A bar and BD bar is minus B bar. So we have AD bar as A bar minus B bar. So thus we can also have the same triangle law, we can use it for subtraction of two vectors as well. Next we go on to something called polygonal law, which is an extension again of the addition law of vectors. It can be extended to any number of vectors that way. So over here, suppose this is a polygon. Say this is the polygon represented as O, A, B, C, D. So OA, BC, DO is a polygon where the side OA is A bar, AB is B bar, BC is C bar and CD is D bar. Then we can see very clearly in the figure that in triangle OAB, OB bar is given by A bar plus B bar. Isn't it? A bar plus B bar, if you can see properly here. Now what about OC bar? OC bar is A bar plus B bar plus C bar. And then OD bar becomes A bar plus B bar plus C bar plus D bar again by the triangle law. So thus we can see that by the polygon, this is called as polygonal law. So by the polygonal law, okay, OD is the addition of all these vectors which form the sides of the polygon, that is A plus B, vector A, vector B, vector C and vector D. It is a sum of all these vectors which are there. This is called as polygonal law. Now something important which I want to tell you all is that when we talk about the triangle law, we say that the sides of a triangle A bar plus B bar is equal to C bar. Remember, it is not the addition of their magnitude, it is only vector addition. It is not that A plus B gives us C. Measure of side A plus side B gives us side C, not that way. This is just called as a vector addition. So keep all these theory parts in mind. In the next lecture, we are going to come across sums which are dealing with this particular part of the lesson that is there. So we are going to start with the exercise in the next lecture and we are going to deal with sums. So do keep this theory in mind so that you understand when we solve the sums which are there. So see you in the next lecture.